Hello friends, on this beautiful sunshiny day, look what we have sitting here in the driveway. Suzuki's very own Rolling Thunder, the Suzuki boom making machine, a 1997 TL1000S. A little history, or maybe more of a debriefing on this motorcycle. The TL1000S was developed to combat Ducati and stop Ducati from winning all the production racing in the early 90s. Suzuki went and got all revolutionary in obtaining this goal, and in 1997 introduced the Suzuki TL1000S, a lightweight aluminum trellis frame with a ram air breathing, electronic fuel injected, liquid cooled, 90-degree, dual overhead cam V-twin connected to a 6-speed transmission, putting out 125 horsepower with a top speed over 160 miles an hour. That all sounds great and awesome in 1997. And one more piece of revolutionary tech borrowed from Formula One. A rotary rear dampener as the rear suspension. You see, in this new frame and new swing arm sits the new V-twin, which is longer than a traditional inline 4-cylinder. Space was limited, which leads us to the spring on a stick. The spring on a stick was mounted on the right side of the bike and the rotary dampener mounted on the left. Now before you bring down fire and brimstone on this setup, I can see what the engineers at Suzuki were hypothesizing. A rotary dampener is wonderful on a smooth surface. A smooth surface like, say, a racetrack? I mean, Suzuki developed this bike to win races. That is why the TL1000S is here, right? But this is a street bike, and public roads are anything but smooth. So now, the small amount of oil in the rotary dampener is being overworked. And remember where it is mounted? On the left side by the exhaust. So now we are overworking the rotary dampener and cooking the oil. Oops. Here is born the Widowmaker, aptly named after a British journalist is killed on a TL1000S. But is it all the rotary dampener's fault? Probably not. More of a combination of things. Too much power for the new aluminum frame, a swing arm with too much lateral flex, a 10mm shorter front fork. If these tank slapping good times were not enough problems, the engines were leaking oil, the clutches were slipping, misfiring was occurring, and actual frame cracking also plagued the Suzuki TL1000S. This led to some band-aids from Suzuki and one hated idea: restricting the ECUs. You may be saying, all this sounds horrible. Maybe it is. But maybe also that is the appeal. What you cannot argue with is the V-twin engine. Long after the TL was killed off, the motor has been used by Suzuki in multiple models worldwide, like the SV1000S, the DL1000S, and the popular V-Strom. Other companies have used the motor itself as well, like Bimota stuffing it into their SV8K. That brings us to what is sitting right here in front of us, antique plated in all its nostalgia. Where do we start? Let's start with what Suzuki did. A recall that added a steering dampener. New Bridgestone tires wrapped the Marchesini wheels, controlled by the larger calibers borrowed from the Gixxer 1000 and the Busa. through stainless steel brake lines, cooled by engine ice, excuse me, and full synthetic oil, breathing through actual carbon fiber ram air vents, cleaned by high flow air filter that exits out double cannon Yoshimura pipes. The spring on a stick and rotary dampener have been removed. We are now balanced by a B-tubo rear suspension. Did all these things fix the issues plaguing the Widowmaker? I don't know. What about the forks? Well, these forks have been out to CTR suspension, where John Test has worked his magic on them. Did it fix it? I'm not sure, but I don't mind to ride this 25-year-old Widowmaker. Does it compete with modern leader bikes of the time right now? No, it doesn't. But it does do one thing that they cannot do, and that is make the thunder. So let's start this up and hear it. I don't think we need to choke, but I do have to set you down for 1 second so that I can pull the clutch in. And this paint's so smooth the phone's sliding. There we go. Let's see if I'll stay there for a second. That's right, the Rolling Thunder. Let's give it a little juice here. Now, I cannot take credit for any of this work. I, at best, maybe sourced a couple of parts from my best friend who passed away. He installed all these things, and right here riding with me is my best bud, Warner Brandon. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, let me know what you like best about the TL1000S down in the comments. And as always, if you want to see more bikes and more things in the driveway, give me a subscribe. We'll see you next time.